Jim Cosmas, how are you doing, Jim?
I am excellent. I'm doing well. I'm here on the Checker Pro radio show with you. What can be better?
Hey, it's cool. I don't know. I can think of a lot of other things that might be better for you, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me today on the program. That's awesome. Reading your book for the second time, and yeah, dog-eared and bookmarks and sticky notes. This is awesome for the home service professional. I would say especially for a smaller company, not like a $100 million company. A lot of them have things in place they're using, and I mean, there might be some good stuff in here, but I really think it's great for the smaller to medium-sized companies who have missed out on some things that you've got in this book.
Yeah, the smaller to medium-sized companies, don't have internal marketing teams and they haven't hired marketing geniuses to work for them versus the 100 to $300 million companies. So,
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of gold in the book there.
it's awesome. So, chapter 3, creating powerful offers, I believe, creating powerful offers that generate immediate response. That
Yeah.
speaks to me, resonates. I'm just gonna throw up my little book here. I say little because, in comparison, it's a little book. Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Thank
I'm
you,
reading
thank you.
yours right now.
Yeah, and I write these mini books because, I think they're easy to digest for people, and they kinda stand out even though they're not big, they're on the other side small, so it's kinda like my calling card. But when I read chapter 3 specifically, and I mean, there's gold nuggets throughout your book, but when I read chapter 3, it reminds me of what I do every day in a direct response way, where you want people to have a call to action, and part of that is having a compelling offer. Can you talk a little bit about what might go into an offer? It could be a Facebook ad, it could be maybe
Yeah.
print, television, radio. There's all kinds of mediums out there you could use with this.
Yeah. Well, your offer is the foundation of your marketing success. Your offer, because you can have flashy branding and you can have all these great tools and all these great, softwares and all that kind of stuff. But if your offer doesn't compel somebody to take action,
Mm.
it's of no value because a strong offer can literally rescue kind of a mediocre marketing campaign while a weak offer can make the best campaign just go south. So let me tell you really quick about just a gauge for a really good offer.
Mhm.
If your offer doesn't make you a little nervous when you put it out there, it's probably not strong enough.
I like
So if
that.
you're a it's if you're a home service company or any company for that matter, if you think about some of the best marketing, some of the best advertising, especially direct response kind of stuff, the offer is usually pretty bold, pretty audacious, pretty strong. It stands out. It There's a lot of noise in the marketplace today, wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of noise as far as how many times a day we see a marketing piece, how many times a day we hear something, how many times a day we're bombarded with stuff. Our offers, if they're not strong enough, if they're not bodacious enough, if they don't make us nervous putting them out there, they're just going to mix in with the rest.
I agree. I wanna add something to that if I may, because I'm always looking at it through the lens of direct response radio. I mean, that's my
Yeah,
specialty. That's what I do to make the phone ring for home service professionals. So, you have to have a compelling offer. You want the phone to ring. There has to be a good, call to action. So in that offer, I'll give an example. I've done this with plumbers and water softener companies. You're telling me if you're not feeling a little uncomfortable about it, it might not be audacious enough. It may not be rich enough. And so what we've done before is we've said there's a water softener, ordinarily $6,000. Today it's going to be $1,200 off. We're going to throw in a free reverse osmosis drinking water system for under the sink, give you a free year of salt and free installation. Oh, and on top of that, but wait, there's more, a free water test, and we're going to start with that today. So call now. Oh my gosh, you're giving away the farm. How,
yeah.
You probably gave away the profit just on the water softener, giving $1,200 off. Ah, but if you're a plumber, for instance, you may also be an electrician in an HVAC company, so think about that. Now you're in the door. Maybe you only made $200 net on the deal. You have a new customer now, right? So there's that. Or you sell them on the $7,000 water softener and they say, "How about my reverse osmosis you're gonna give me for free?" "Oh, yeah, the 3 stage, we give you that for free, but for $300 more, we'll give you the 5 stage." "Okay."
Right.
Well, now it's not a loss. And you got in the door and you're a great company, right? A great home service company, so now you have a customer for life. And so all of that spun together is so important, and so it sounds like you're giving away the farm, right, Jim? But maybe you need to.
Well, maybe you need to at least and I don't want people to misunderstand, this isn't a bait and switch type of thing, it's legit, right? Whatever you're going to offer has to be legit, and you have to be able to offer it. But the purpose of that big, bold, audacious offer is to get you to stand above everyone else and get you to be the safest option, the most logical option to, okay, I'm going to call these people. When you get there, that's when you start to then reveal the other things that are available to the customers that maybe you didn't reveal in your offer. And then at the end of the day, it's their decision whether they're going to go with these bigger, better things that you may have to offer. If you're going to make an offer and it just blends in with everyone else's offer, then what is it that keeps you, that makes you stand out? What is it that gets somebody to that gets so compelled to say, "I'm going to call now, I'm gonna get online now, I'm gonna click now." What is that?
Why bother?
Why
If you're
bother?
if you're not in it to win it, why even enter the contest? I mean, serious, like,
Yeah,
just close up shop and go get a job.
yeah.
Um,
In the book, I talk about the 4 pillars of a strong offer, and which is, yeah, there has to be urgency in that offer, especially in direct response. There absolutely has to be urgency. There has to be some scarcity, okay? Only 3 left, only 2 left, and I've watched you do this how many times? "Hey, man, we've already sold 3, there's only 1 left," and that kind of thing. Um, a high value perception. It has to be a high value perception. Just because you say, "I'm going to give you," one of the big mistakes I see people make all the time is say, "Okay, it's a 25% off sale." That
mm,
doesn't mean anything to somebody. 25% off of what? What does 25% mean? So what you just described earlier, which is, okay, our system is normally this, you're going to get it for that, but it's only available for a certain period of time. But here's the biggest one. There has to be a logical reason for doing so. Like, why am I doing this? Is this a scam? Or is this snake oil? So, end of season clearance, beginning of season, get in front of this before anybody, private sale, those sorts of, this would be a logical reason for this. Right now in the HVAC world, there are a lot of logical reasons for doing things that are outside of the norm because of the new refrigerant regulations and the refrigerant changes. So now we have systems that I can sell at a reduced price at a drastic discount because they're being discontinued. Right? How many times people buy discontinued items? They're brand new, same warranties, everything's cool, but we can say that legitimately. And people just don't know about that. There are other things we have to think about in our marketing, and this really this and I've seen you do this all the time in direct response. You have to have free offers. Now,
mm.
not all of these things, by the way, but there should be some kind of free offer, legit but real. Value added offers, which means we're going to add that if you do this, you'll also get that, right? The package offers, which means that, okay, it's all bundled. And then when we get there, we do the premium offers, right? We have the upgrades, the upsells, those kinds of things. Um, urgency offers, like time sensitive, right? Only a few left. This only goes to next week. That thing. The most important thing, however, I'm going to say when you're dealing with putting together a campaign that's going to stand above the rest, that's bold, bodacious, and really makes you very uncomfortable is the guarantee offers. The guarantee offers have to be so over the top, and you have to be able to back them, by the way, but so over the top. And if you want to get like super technical, it's risk reversal is what we talk about. we want to make sure that that client or potential client hears that or sees that and says, okay, there's absolutely no risk for me. None, zero zip. Ron Popeil made this famous, right? The 100% money back guarantee kind of thing. How about the triple money back guarantee? How about a never fail again ever guarantee? No breakdown guarantees. Like all these things that take all the risk away from your potential client, your potential customer, and compels them to say, yes, I want to at least click here, call here, do something with this particular thing that I'm now seeing.
Absolutely. We do it all the time in radio, in direct response radio. We simply put in the wording of the program, when I'm speaking, no obligation. And sometimes we don't really put the no obligation in a place where people can connect it with the water softener, for instance. It's a no obligation phone call. Only 6 left, call now, and don't forget you're gonna get a free water test. Boom, boom,
Right.
boom. So no obligation just being thrown out there, that sounds good. It makes people feel good. You have to understand the psychology of people. When people are looking at something or listening to something, they wanna feel comfortable with it, and they need to act now. So the call to action is, well, there's only a few left, and after the program, it's over. So we've got 10 minutes left in the show and only 2 of these offers left, and then
Right.
it's gone. We see that all the time on the QVCs, these infomercials on television and so forth. Same thing works, on video. You can do it online, certainly on a direct response thing. You tend to need to have time, though, doing that kind of a long form thing so you can tell the story and go through things over and over again. And I agree with you. You need to be able to make that consumer feel comfortable. So having a money back guarantee is great. Can you give me some examples in the HVAC world where someone could give a money back guarantee on something?
Yeah, you can put together again, this is where you're going to potentially be uncomfortable. In the HVAC world, replace your air conditioning, get a free furnace, and have a lifetime guarantee.
Mm.
A or replace your heating and air today, and receive a 100% money back guarantee if you're not satisfied for life. Now, obviously, you have
Well,
to be able to support that,
I'm not
and you have to be
satisfied.
right? Yeah, I'm not right, just because I'm not satisfied. But think about the psychology behind that,
Yeah, yeah.
because most people don't who wants to have a new heating and air system put in their house? Nobody wants that. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says,
Mm.
"You know what? Today I'm just gonna replace my heating and air because I don't have anything else to do." Nobody wants that. So when they go through that, it's a traumatic experience. It wasn't pleasurable. It
Mm.
failed, they had to replace it, and boom, it's being done. So now it's not pleasurable. Now I'm offering them a lifetime warranty or double your money back guarantee. Pretty bold and bodacious. If the system is working perfectly, if you've done a good job, if you're able to back it, why would someone want to go through that just because, okay, it's a warranty, I'm going to get my money back. Now I have to get a whole new one from someone else? No, thank you. No one's going to do that. So many contractors are petrified of putting warranties in place when they know full well if they've done a good job and they honor it and they do everything and there are some guidelines and safeguards in there. No one's going to honor that, but people are petrified about that.
Yeah, and so if you have a graph, you're looking at the incremental sales you get from that compelling offer.
Yeah,
It's great. You could draw another line way down here of the refunds you had to give.
right.
So, it's a cost of doing business then. So what? So for
It
every
is.
100 you sell, one of them you had to go and tear it out and eat the cost, lose the
Yeah.
profit,
Yeah.
okay? But you're only eating the cost. You make the salesman pay for some of that too because
Well,
obviously
listen,
more.
if I'm going to go out on a limb. Well, not so much out on a limb. I've been doing this since 1980 for crying out loud. if you're doing a good job, if you're installing correctly, if you're selling the right systems, if you're measuring correctly, if you're doing load calculations, if you're doing all the things you're supposed to do it as an HVAC company or any other home services company, and the appropriate piece of equipment is being installed, it's installed correctly, it's being maintained, all of these other things are done correctly, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you have to replace 1 in every 100, that's way too many, way
Mm.
too many. I'm going with 1 in every 1,000, maybe. So
Oh my gosh.
to take your example, if you had to replace 1 in 100, now you're taking back the equipment that can be sold now as a used,
Refurbished equipment, yeah.
refurbished. Wait, it gets better. Wait, there's more. There's
Oh,
my
wait,
radio
there's more.
side coming out. Wait, there's more. What if you did have to take back a system like that? Okay. You know what? It was legit. You screwed up, or maybe had a real, SOB customer. For
Yeah.
whatever reason, you had to take it back. Now you have this inventory of used equipment inventory that's still pretty much new, right?
Mhm.
You make sure it's clean, you make sure it's all of that. What about doing something charitable in your community and then marketing the hell out of that and giving that equipment away to a needy family and installing it in somebody else's house? Would you use that in your marketing and turn that negative into a huge positive? Thank you very much, Mr. POA customer, who's now offered me the ability to give this equipment away.
Yes. I love that, and how about on top of this? How about if it is 1 in 100, you tell every prospect, maybe you don't advertise it, but maybe after they've gotten to the point where they're looking at 2, 3 companies, you're one of them, and they're asking about this guarantee, you say, "You know
Yeah.
what, honestly, 6 months ago, we had to do this for Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We're not sure what happened, but statistically, 3% of all customers are never happy, so 1%, this is gonna happen." So we gladly went in, here are some pictures and video of us removing it for them. What does that say? It says you'll do it. You
Yeah.
will come to my house and take it out
100%.
if I'm not happy, so you kinda want that.
100%. How about, yeah, you can get really bold and audacious in your marketing. Utilize that kind of languaging. Just bring it to light and bring it to people. Stand out in a very, very crowded AI generated media right now.
Mm.
Stand out, and that's how you do it. There are a lot of different ways, but that no risk reversal, big, bodacious, audacious guarantees, things that you can do that no one else can do that are unique to you. Those are the things that stand out.
Yeah, you need to make these bold statements and be prepared to self-insure. But you're gonna have so many premiums coming in, right? So many sales,
Right.
and you can charge a premium for that because you are providing such a great product and service. Like you said a few moments ago, Jim, you're installing a great product correctly. You've done the testing, the loads, and all that. You know that what you've done scientifically is going to work. So, therefore, you can charge more because you guys are doing the best
Yeah.
possible job. Also, if the unit were to fail, that's okay because you, the installer, the HVAC company, have a backup, and that's called the warranty from the manufacturer.
Yeah. Well, you have the warranty from the manufacturer. You have third-party labor warranties. You're covered for 10 years. So
Yep.
it's a no-brainer, and for those people that are not taking advantage of that, it's a shame, really, and you can do that in your marketing. If you create this high value perception with this risk reversal, and I'm a consumer, and maybe I'm not in a right now, I'm not, you know what, I don't wanna replace my heating and air. Maybe no, I'm not looking to replace my water heater,
Mm.
or I'm not looking to put on a new roof, but I hear this and all of a sudden I say, maybe it's worth them coming out for a free inspection, my free inspection. And then all of a sudden that free inspection reveals all these other things. That's really what we're trying to do. That's really, what I see a lot, some of the mistakes that contractors make often in their marketing. And one of the biggies is the mixed messaging
Mm.
where they it's not just one offering. So they'll give you a mixed message and they'll put down marketing and they'll list everything they do in the marketing piece instead of listing just that one service that I want to focus on.
Yeah.
I want to focus on the water heater. Here's what you're going to get if you call us today, kind of thing. Versus, yeah, we do water heaters and we do plumbing and we do repairs and we do repipes and we do water softeners. It's just too muddled, too muddled. So you want to choose one service when you're giving people marketing, and you want to set a very, very clear objective. What am I marketing for? Am I marketing to make my phone ring? Am I marketing because I'm just looking to create more awareness? Am I marketing because I want to increase my average sale, my average, like, what am I doing? And then add the urgency, add the value, add the risk reversal, your phone's gonna ring.
It's interesting you say just focus on one thing at a time. I'll have clients who wanna do direct response radio with me, and they'll say, "This week, I wanna talk about a free water test." But, we also do attic
Right.
insulation. So, I wanna talk about doing, a free attic assessment. And, believe it or not, we also do foundation repair, so we wanna do that as well. I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. One thing," and I recommend doing water, for instance, because if you do water, water's consumed more than anything in the home across the world. I mean, water. We need water. We'll die without water, and we use it to wash our dishes and to heat our water, to bathe, and so forth. And so I say if you can start with that, it's great. Or if you can save money through an efficiency type test. So if you're an HVAC company and you say, "Hey, we'll do a free duct inspection."
Yeah.
Mm, okay. And then if you need duct work, we'll give you this off. Or attic insulation, same thing. We'll come and check your attic insulation. If you're a little short, we'll give you a discount on topping it off, and we'll tell you all the ins and outs of your efficiency. Wow, a free efficiency test?
Yeah.
Wow, free water test, um, a tune up. So what we do a lot on radio with HVAC companies is the discounted tune up. Ordinarily 149, only $49 today. We're gonna go over these 21, 29 points. Boom, 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 boom. What do you think of that? Should it be free or should it be 149 and forget the discount to 49? What are your thoughts?
There are a few ways to think about this, and when I'm doing coaching and consulting for companies, we talk a lot about their cost structure and cost of lead acquisition, right? What does it cost to acquire a single customer? So sometimes we say, all right, I'm going to do direct response radio. All
Yeah.
right, what are we going to say on that? I'm going to give something away. Okay, I'm going to give a tune-up. Let's just say I'm going to do a tune-up and I'm going to give that away. Well, here's what I'm going to give away. I'm going to give away a modified version of the tune-up, maybe a safety inspection or a full inspection of your heating and air system. Now, while I'm there, I can then talk about, well, you need full maintenance. And while we're here, there are some discounts and all those sorts of things. But your pricing structure has to be able to support all of these things. And if we think about the lifetime value of a customer, if we think about what it costs us today to get our phone ring just one time, um, all of those factors have to come into play. Know what your costs are, so then you can go to market with the appropriate discount. I'm not a fan of discounts, believe it or not. I am a fan of discounts with a plausible reason. In
Sure.
other words, I will
Justify it.
give you something if you give me something. So I will give you this discount if you call me today so I can fill my schedule, right?
Mhm.
But it comes down to making sure that their financial structure could support it, which means now we have to get into their financials and talk about, okay, how do you price your goods and services? But when we talk about giving things away or drastically discounting things, there has to be a plausible reason, and there has to and does it really matter in the ears and eyes of the consumer? Does it is that enough? Is a $49 tune-up going to make a difference when it's usually 149 or 189? Maybe. Is what else is included though?
Yeah.
"Oh, we're gonna give you this $49 tune-up, and we're going to guarantee your system's not gonna break down for the rest of the season." All of a sudden, that $49 tune-up became way more valuable. What does it cost you to say that or do that? Nothing, nothing. So, the big bodacious, claims and warranties, you have to be able to back them. Your pricing structure has to be able to support them, but listen, the market rewards boldness. A weak offer is like a
Mhm.
whisper, like a whisper. A great one shouts, right? And gets heard above the noise today. So make your offer, whatever it is, big, bold, and great. Make sure that your pricing structure could support it. You support it. Your financials could support it. And ultimately, make sure it matters to the person that's hearing it or seeing it. Does it really matter?
Yeah, I think in certain instances, you can do something like this, and this is what we do on the radio sometimes. We'll say, "The reason why we're making this offer today is we're looking for a new client." If you, as the HVAC, plumber, roofing company, wanna call them clients, which there's a reason why you might, but whatever. We're looking for a customer just like you because we know if you're listening to WW, if you're listening to KK, whatever station it is, you're our type of customer. And we want more people like you. Well, when you are wanted, you feel special. Think about that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So now you're creating a level of differentiation. I akin that to sometimes I work with a few companies. One's a national company, and they talk about when they bring their services to market, you have to qualify as a
Yes.
customer.
Yes.
I have to. What do you mean I have to qualify? You may not qualify,
Yeah. Why
and I may
not?
not be able to help you. I may not be able to help you. Now all of a sudden it creates this. Well, why don't I I want to qualify. I
You want to
want this thing.
belong. Yeah.
Right. You want to belong. Absolutely.
So it's like a
So when
club. Yeah.
yeah, it's like a club. Exactly. That's why we call our maintenance agreements like club memberships, those kinds of things. We want to have this inclusiveness, but it's exclusive, right? Not everyone can get this thing.
And that's why if you position your message in the right place. So I gave that example. If you're listening to us on, WKPI, we know that you're our type of customer. And what's interesting is that customer knows because they listen to that radio station not just for the show they're listening to now, but for maybe Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity if it's conservative talk. So they're already loyal to that brand, that type of programming. And so they're going to be thinking, okay, I understand. They're actually saying something that's legit. They could get any customer, but they want people who are conservative, Christian, most likely people. And that's who I am. I'm part of that tribe. So I want to be part of that company. That's
Right.
very hard to do though on social media. People don't say, "Oh, I'm a Facebooker. It's my big family of 8 billion people." It's a little different. It could be a magazine though you could do it with, possibly a TV station, um, a group within Facebook, that type of thing, right? Because
Yeah,
it's not broad now, right? So if you're
exactly.
in with a group, okay, and you identify with that group, then you're more likely to get those people if that's the type of
Absolutely.
customer you want. So be careful what you're attracting.
Well, you do need to know your ideal client avatar.
Mhm.
When I work with contractors, we work a lot on identifying their ideal client, who they are, who do they want to work with. Not everyone is your customers. You said before, like 30 that there's a percentage of people that just, if you think of 100% of the customers out there, potential customers out there, the bottom 30% will never buy from you.
Mm.
They're just not going to. They don't like you. They don't trust you. They want to buy from the truck in the truck, cheap Charlie guy. That's cool. The top, actually, the bottom 20. The top 20 is going to buy from you just because you showed up.
Yeah.
They'll buy from you because you have a pulse. And sometimes they'll buy from you even if you don't have a pulse. So even the bottom 20, the top 20, it's the middle 60 that we do all of this for. It's the middle 60 that we put all this marketing for to attract them. That's what we do this for. It's that middle 60. So not everyone that's going to hear your radio show, Jim, is going to be a buyer.
Nope.
Not everybody, but some will. And are they your client, Mr. Heating and Air guy? Is that who you're attracting? Do you even know? Do you even know?
Yeah. And since you brought it up, something cool about radio when you're doing a long form radio program, Jim. You can tell a story. The the infomercial is framed around a radio show. So even though it's a call to action direct response show, AKA infomercial, it's infotainment. So it's
Right.
informational, it's entertainment. The people who listen to the radio stations we're on, which are conservative talk around the country, those are very loyal listeners. It's a religion to them. It just is. It is their church when they're in the car, right? That is their thing. And so when you're on it, you're in the tribe automatically. They're driving around and listening about hard water and how the expert guest on the show can solve the problem, and you didn't even know you had the problem.
Right.
Most people who watch infomercials did not need that exercise equipment or
No.
weren't thinking about buying it or the blender or anything else. The pocket fisherman, I had one of those when I was a kid. All
I
that
had them
stuff,
all.
they
Yeah.
weren't thinking about it, but they're like, "You know what? Maybe I do have hard water." Because what they're saying is if my water heater rumbles, I may have sediment in it from hard water. Those water spots on my shower doors, that's not necessarily supposed to be there. My dishwasher being replaced every 36 months isn't normal? No, it's not. So I may have hard water. They're on my favorite radio station. I trust the radio station, and they're going to come out and give me a free water test. Let me call now. And Jim, what they're calling for is it's not a lead for that water softener company, for that plumber. It is an appointment.
It's an
And they
appointment.
also know what it's gonna cost if they buy the water softener with the deal. They also know what it's gonna cost for the reverse osmosis. So, when the tech goes out there to do the water test and they're like, "Oh, yeah, ma'am, you do have hard water. You were right. Good thing you called us. Would you like us to install the water softener that we, talked about on the radio?" "Sure." "Oh, but you know what? We just happen to have a deal. Our supplier made too many of the
Right.
one that's 2 levels up. It's ordinarily 10,000, it's only $7,000.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Or like I said in the AC world, our supply the new refrigerants are out, and the federal government has mandated new refrigerants. The old systems, the old refrigerants are no longer available, no longer being manufactured. Our supplier has X amount of these systems left,
Mm,
and I bought them all at a really good deal. So I'm gonna pass this on to you. Right? So there's a plausible reason for giving somebody a discount. It's not fake or phony. Um,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
you just hit a point which is really important. You truly have to understand what your marketing is designed to do.
Mm,
And if you're going on a direct response radio program, it's not to get a lead, it's to get your phone to ring with an appointment. It's not to say, "Oh, yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'll get a lead." And they no, it's an appointment. It's an
mhm,
actual appointment. I say this to people when they do this, when they do marketing for radio, even postcards or anything else that they're doing marketing for. Postcards are back in again, by the way, much like
they're
radio.
great. They're
Yeah,
fun.
and but even that is understand what is the end result you're looking for. Are you looking to get somebody to call and ask a bunch of questions about this thing that you're offering? Or are you looking for somebody to call and say, "Hey, when can you get here?" Either way is cool, but understand what is your messaging, and your messaging then has to resonate with that client that you're looking for, with that ideal client avatar.
Yeah, you really need to think about the positioning and really building the marketing/advertising slash advertising program. So a lot of people take the easy way out. I'll buy Facebook ads. I'll call the radio station and have them just play 30-second ads. I don't know anything about an ad as an HVAC guy, but I'll just have the morning guy read something, and they want me to come up with a script, but I'll send them a couple bullet points, let the station figure it out. And then they wonder why they don't get much of a grip and they're constantly slipping down the cliff versus really thinking, okay, who do I want as a customer? You can actually do that.
Right,
Even more so today, on a Facebook ad, you can actually drill down. I want boom, this type of
right, right.
person. But you can still do that with certain television and certain radio, magazines even. I mean, magazines actually You can get some specific magazines, especially things for, like, neighborhoods where you live,
Yeah, yeah, you can get
and
neighborhood
yeah,
magazines and, home and garden magazines, things that are specific to what we do in the trades.
exactly, and so, um, I'd recommend getting a hold of Jim at the Blue Collar Wave. He knows all this stuff, the ins and outs of things. I mean, if I were a small operator to medium size, and I didn't have in-house help, you would be my first call, especially in HVAC,
Yeah.
because I know you know a lot about that. But even so, I mean, I know that cross many different home service categories, including landscaping, right? So there's just a lot there, and to visit with you, I think makes a lot of sense because you'll get ideas. But also, before I forget, how can someone get a copy of your
There you
book?
go.
Because I think before they contact you, they should look at the book, write down ideas and thoughts, and then call you.
Look at the book. So they can go to thebluecollarwave.com, thebluecollarwave.com/, free dash book.
Free.
Free d Yeah, it won't cost you anything. Free dashboard. You go in, you just put your all I'm looking for is for your email where I can, because you're going to get, now you can get it 2 ways. You can get it, like a digital version, put your
Mm.
email in, or you can get a physical copy. I'll mail it to you. Either way, go to thebluecollarwave.com/, free dash book.
I
Get it right
love
up.
this book. It's a little bit of a workbook. It's just got all kinds of golden nuggets in it, right? And so that's the type of book I like to read. I don't wanna hear about how great you are, Jim, that's fine, okay? People will write
Yeah,
a book
yeah.
about how great you are and your
Yeah, no,
history and
listen, the book isn't only about marketing, by the way. I go through 12 specific strategies to show you literally how to increase your bottom line profitability. Marketing is one of those things. And what I say is you could do this without spending any more than you're already spending on your marketing spend. It doesn't mean you don't do marketing anymore. It just means let's be really strategic about my marketing spend, and doing like direct response radio. Shift your marketing spend to do that. I promise you, you're going to get a huge, huge bang for the buck on that type of thing versus just throwing some 30, 60-second ads random that some radio station produced that knows nothing about you or your business.
yeah, that's challenging when I hear from people, "I've tried radio and it doesn't work."
You're right. It doesn't when you do it like that.
Yeah, and I know a lot of divorced people too, but I know a lot of happily married people. So,
Yeah,
someone who's been divorced 3 or 4 times say marriage doesn't work. And actually, it may not work for you, so don't do it again if you've been divorced that many times.
right.
But
Sometimes we
but,
need to know our
it's
limitations, you
yeah,
know?
it's like anything else. If Facebook ads didn't work, Facebook wouldn't have the money coming in they have coming in because they continually get people repeating. If TV
Yeah,
still didn't work, it wouldn't be on the air anymore. Radio wouldn't be on the air. It works. You have to figure out if it can work for you
right.
and then how to make it work for you. Those are 2 different things because you might be in a business where it just doesn't make sense to do radio, television, or print, or Facebook even. You might need to actually get on stage and talk in front of 300 people and do a face-to-face type thing. It all depends on what business you're in. In home service, which we're talking, the big ones like plumbing, electric, HVAC,
Right.
um, you have a lot of people who need your services. Most people wanna live the American dream, and apparently, the American dream is owning a home with a white picket fence. So if you're in the fencing business, it's good. But with the white picket fence, right? So, and people will put money into it, and they have to. With HVAC, with plumbing, electric, they have to. You can't live without those. You can't. If
You
something's
can't.
broken, you've gotta get it fixed.
Yeah.
But there are so many people, so many businesses in those spaces, and I'll say this not to be offensive to people, but if you're not that creative, you just go into a business that's already there. So if you're not a creative person, I'll be a plumber. I'll be an HVAC guy because there's such demand for it. But once you're in it, now what are you gonna do, right? That's
Right.
why you
Now
need
what?
to pick up Jim's book. In the, notes of this podcast, I will have links to get the book and all of
Right.
Jim's information. Reach out to
Right.
him. He'd love to talk to you. He's a good friend of mine, and I just love talking to you. I appreciate
Listen,
you coming on the show, bud.
I appreciate you having me on here, man. Like I said, it's, you've truly arrived when you've been on a Checker Pro radio show, that's for sure. My last words to everyone out there, don't guess. Speak with the pros. Me, Jim, others, just speak with the pros to help you get through these. At the end of the day, a scary good offer pays off over the customer's lifetime if you know who your customer truly is. It'll be the best investment you'll ever make.
I love it, Jim. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thank you, Jim.